Hey Greenhouse, this is Cherie speaking to you from Toronto. I graduated from International Development last year and I was part of the Greenhouse cohort in 2018. My friend Davina and I co-founded a sustainable and ethical fashion brand to retail fair trade clothing and to raise awareness about ethical consumerism. Today I would like to share about how to implement the social impact principles right now during COVID-19, the pandemic, to make an impact right where you are for your community. Hop right into it. The first thing about social entrepreneurship is to see every problem as an opportunity to give back and to make an impact. And that's not to make light of any situation and any issues, but it's a mindset to kind of get yourself out of negativity and apathy and to see yourself in a place where you can make an impact. A lot of you guys might think that, oh man, social entrepreneurship, you must have a lot of knowledge, you need to solve an extreme difficult problem, and you have to come up with some unique, innovative ideas. But that's not exactly true. I remember the very first thing that we had to do in Greenhouse was to actually come up with a fundraiser for the community. And that's actually the basis of social entrepreneurship, to find an issue that needs assistance or support, assess what is being done and what is not being done, and come up with an idea to fill that gap. With that, I would like to share some of those specific ways that you can meet the needs in your community right where you are. The first one is to meet your neighbors and offer to help pick up prescription, groceries, or do errands. I know a lot of us who live in individual houses don't actually know our neighbors very well. And so this is a very important time for us to actually meet our neighbors. I think it's more than ever now that we're realizing the importance of community and the importance to step out of our comfort zone and to see how each other are doing. Second way of doing this in a greater area than your own neighborhood is to join a Facebook community group. So for example, there is a caremongering Toronto group where people would post what they're in search of, resources that are out there, what are their needs, and etc. So this is a really good place to get plugged into your community, join in a discussion, see what needs there are, and offer help. There's also really cool initiatives that could start right here. So for example, earlier, someone came up with the idea to order lunch for some of the frontline workers, either in nursing home or hospitals. And so we pulled money together to get lunch, and they ended up raising over $1,000. So someone volunteered to coordinate and bought a whole bunch of pizza, drinks, and snack and delivered it to one of our neighborhood's nursing home. And we did it 3 times. So this was at Union Home Society, just posting this on Facebook and expressing how much they were encouraged by what the community is doing for them. And we also intentionally purchased from a local pizza store to support local businesses. If your community doesn't have one, you can start one. And it's just starting a Facebook group, inviting your friends or neighbors that are in your area, and let that group grow. The fourth thing you can do is to do grocery run or donate to your local food bank, depending on what they need. There are more people than ever in need of food assistance for those who are struggling in food insecurity. And so one thing you can do is to pull money from some of your friends, some of your neighbors, and do a grocery run. So a quick tip, I know it's really easy to just go for the cheapest food because you're on a budget, but try to shop for others like you would shop for yourself. Remember that those who are receiving help are also worthy of dignity and good quality foods. The fifth thing that you can do is to advocate for the homeless population in your city. Right now, a lot of shelters and drop-in centers are actually closed. A lot of people are actually sleeping in close quarters and able to practice social distancing. And so, for example, there is a huge need in downtown Toronto right now. And so shelters, drop-in centers are coming together to advocate to the mayor of Toronto to open up hotels, gyms, and empty apartments to house people who are unsheltered. So this group started petitions and are calling people to call and email or tweet at the mayor. So this is something that I did over the weekend, and that's how you do it. Super easy. Hi, my name is Cherie Wai, and I work with at-risk children and youth in inner city Toronto, and I'm calling the mayor's office today because I'd like to express my concern for the homeless situation in Toronto right now. There are still 7,000 people who are relying on Toronto's shelter system. People who are experiencing homelessness are at higher risk and contract of the severe COVID disease. And so I'd like to call and ask the city to urgently open hotel rooms and apartments for all. I'm also asking for the city to provide assistance such as personal protective equipment, PPE, for shelter staff, drop-in staff, and anyone who are working closely with the homeless population. As a citizen, I'm very concerned about the marginalized in the city, and I'm looking to hear from the government ASAP on programs and assistance being made for that situation. So thank you so much. That's it. If you want to know more about the issue, I posted it on my Instagram, as well as an email template on how to email the mayor. So the sixth thing that you can do is to support a charity in need. Now, there are a whole ton of needs out there. It's hard to navigate which charity to support, which one has most urgent needs. And so I've actually done the work for you. I have listed all the ways that you can support the most vulnerable, from Outreach Center for the Homeless, Crisis Pregnancy Center, to mental health organization, to food banks, to global development organizations. And I have listed out what exactly they need, and it ranges from financial donations to gift cards to items to advocacy help. And so you can check out this blog for you to find out what organizations need help, donate to it, and even start a fundraising campaign. Fundraising campaigns are easier than ever now because you can do it through Facebook. And so if you have a heart for Food Bank, you have a heart for Crisis Pregnancy Center, you have a heart for the homeless, you can start a fundraiser. And that way it's a lot more impactful to gather money. I know it's hard because it feels like you're just giving away money and you don't see the impact, but this is a time to trust organizations that are on the ground at work for a long time, and to just trust that they will use the money in the best way that it could. So that wraps up the 6 different ways that you can make an impact in the community. There really is no greater time than now to get out of your comfort zone, dive into the community, plug in, and see what needs are there, and to help the most vulnerable and marginalized. And in a time like these, ourselves and our children are going to look back in their history textbooks about the COVID-19 pandemic that happened and how we as a society, as a community, and as a world responded. So let's leave a history of compassion, unity, and extraordinary generosity for our kids to look back on. Thanks everyone for listening. Signing out in solidarity.